What's up, guys? So I have been doing a parasite detox, parasite cleanse for 6 months. Originally found out I have a parasite infestation problem when I started doing coffee enemas. And there's so much involved with the parasite cleanse. So you can check out my other videos for some of the basics, but this is kind of going to be an update about where I'm at about 6 months later from the start of it. And the major type of parasite that I'm dealing with is a ropeworm parasite. I've seen some hookworm parasites that I've passed just in smaller amounts. I've never really passed a fluke worm parasite or a fluke liver parasite. Those are typically more so from consuming undercooked fish. I don't really eat a lot of fish, so I'm not really surprised that I haven't passed any of those. My digestion has significantly improved. Amazing amounts of gallstones and liver stones I've passed, and I've actually known what it feels like to have gallbladder attacks. Amazingly, my wife used to have it, and I've heard various ways of getting rid of those, and lemon juice is really great for purging gallstones. Anyways, so yeah, I had some gallbladder attacks. They weren't extreme or anything, but I can relate now more so. And the thing is, all I did was drink apple cider vinegar, and man, did it stop it right away, because that will really stimulate bile production, and then your body can pass it really quickly. So anyways, about the whole parasite detox thing, I have been doing a lot of stuff. Gubariv and Volinsky, there's this guy's name is Professor Alex Volinsky, and he found this Russian guy who patented all these different ways of getting rid of ropeworm parasites. And one of those methods was like a eucalyptus essential oil enema. And man, essential oils on the inside, I can't do it. I don't think it's safe for where most of Americans' gut health is, and probably most of the rest of the world. It probably is not too safe at all. So I've actually made some roll-ons where I use Now Brand's Nature Shield, or I use I make my own thieves oil blend or whatever. And actually the first time I made a really strong roll-on blend, it was like 3/4 of the tube was just essential oils, and you probably shouldn't use something that strong of essential oils, especially if you're sensitive, and especially if you're not doing colon cleansing, because that stuff can build up in your liver. I think it really helps me that I'm doing liver detoxes every day with these coffee enemas and stuff. But anyways, back to that first time I used that roll-on, and I applied it on my right side, right underneath my rib cage where my liver gallbladder area is. I purged so many stones from gallstones. It was like a toilet full of green stones, and that's how you know it's a gallstone. Liver stones are yellow. But yeah, I never had problems with those before. I've purged some the size of a macadamia nut, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable, but my digestion is so much better. I can significantly tell already. A lot of people comment about how much nicer my skin looks, and I can understand that as well. Excuse me. They say the top essential oil blends for overall anti-parasitic is oregano, clove, and cinnamon. I use all those mainly in the thieves oil blend. The oregano, I add a couple of drops afterwards, because that's not a very normal ingredient in the thieves oil, or the Nature Shield, it's not in there either. But I've seen a lot of good benefits from that. And after that, I've been using the roll-on with eucalyptus oil in it. The eucalyptus is supposed to be the best for killing those stage 5, the most adult versions of these parasites. And I know I've got one of those. I can push down on my stomach. I could feel it in there. I can push down on it until I feel it move. It's crazy. And the eucalyptus applied topically gets into your bloodstream pretty fast. And so I know if there's pain associated with this adult one, that if I rub it on a certain area where I'm feeling that pain, then it will get into my bloodstream fast. And I think that's the main source of food for this thing. So they end up sucking up the eucalyptus pretty fast, and then they stop and either try and find another area, which I usually already have applied the roll-on to, or whatever. I mean, some of the modalities haven't really changed much that I've been using. Those are the new things, like my roll-on. I've also been using colloidal silver creams applied to my stomach, because I've been reading about how colloidal silver creams and topical gels can be antiparasitic. I also used like a very small particle size, the 10 parts per million sovereign silver in the enemas as well. And they say that's more effective because it covers a lot more surface area to make it more effective. I don't really know, but it seems to be benefiting quite a bit as well. But it seems like there's barely a day or two that goes by without me passing a foot-long middle stage parasite like this. And the biggest thing I really wanted to make this video about was probably just about how it's so important to keep up amino acids or fiber or both, or something that's going to help you eliminate the toxins that build up in your body when you're doing these parasite cleanses. Because holy cow, the toxins, when they sit there in your gut, there's so much talk about the gut-brain connection. It's real. If there's stuff in your gut, it's going into your brain. So that's why it makes like these eliminating parasites and parasite detoxes so extremely, it's a psychological warfare, really. I've read about it. I've heard other people talk about how much either they have anxiety, fears, or some people experience psychoses, which is like they lose touch with reality. And for me, I definitely notice an increased anxiety, and that just tells me I haven't been consuming enough of those things that help my body eliminate toxins and stuff. Because like you get something good like bentonite clay or activated charcoal or your amino acids, or a good soluble fiber like maybe chia seeds or the psyllium husk. All those things can really help eliminate those toxins. Because as it is, there's a lot of people that say, these parasites, they just encode themselves in a bunch of nasty stuff like dead viruses, viruses aren't actually alive. But that's the theory, I think, is basically it's covered in viruses, it's covered in contaminated stuff, a lot of old stuff sticks to it, bad bacteria probably sticks to it. But seriously, when I was going through some of those detox symptoms just the other night, it makes you feel so isolated, so alone, and you start to think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But the other side of that is, like, I've read about this. I've read really well. I know what to expect. I know other people's testimonies that they've had all these things, but you still feel like you're the only one going through it. And I think that's the way a lot of our struggles can be, even though there's no struggle, that someone else has not been through, really. I mean, various circumstances changes, but it's the human condition. Struggles and all these things are common, and you're not the first person to go through what you're going through is, I guess, probably the most encouraging thing I could say. That's probably the main reason why I wanted to bring this up was you guys definitely, if you're going to do this detox stuff, make sure you increase your fiber and all those things I just talked about that can help eliminate, because your body's going to need all the help it can get, or else you might suffer from it. Yeah, I guess the other point is there's a lot of people out there who do 15-day detox programs or 3-day detox or 15-day parasite cleanse, all those things, which that's a great foundation, good place to start. But I definitely know that there's people out there that if they only did 3-day, 15-day, they would see no difference and they'd be like, oh, I'm just fine, no parasites. Yet they still have a lot of different symptoms that most likely are related to a parasite problem. So as hard as that may be, I really suggest people probably should find a way to detox. And it's just a suggestion. I can't tell you what to do, But anyways, like I said, this has been me doing a detox for 6 months, and I've been passing them probably every day or every other day, 1-foot parasites, or who knows how large they were, because sometimes they don't stay fully intact when they leave my body, and they're never alive when they leave my body. They're always dead. So, but yeah, other than that, it's so crazy to think about. Well, I did a 15-day parasite cleanse 16 years ago, and I didn't have any parasites, so I'm good. And yet people have restlessness, hard time losing weight, hard time gaining weight. I mean, there's other videos I've made already that has a huge list of all the different parasite symptomology and possible symptoms, etc. And yeah, there was an individual who came in, talked to me, and his traditional Chinese medicine practitioner that he sees suggested doing a minimum of a 4-month detox and a 4-month parasite cleanse. And yeah, I mean, if I were to have stopped at 4 months, holy cow. I mean, I'm in my mid-30s, so, maybe if you're younger, you might not need as long. I don't know. You have to judge and gauge those things yourself. And I think a lot of the natural health people out there on YouTube and other people who believe in doing parasite detoxes, parasite cleanses, they tend to at least do some type of regimen every 6 months. And like there's the Hulda Clark program. She talked about you should probably do a maintenance dose of clove every single week just to try and prevent and to stop the egg larva stage of parasites. And yeah, for me, I really haven't seen a lot of egg parasite larva stuff being passed in a long time, because I have been consuming quite a bit. Like for me personally, I like to make either a clove drink or just throw some cloves in my mouth and chew on them and swallow them after I've significantly, chewed at them and extracted what's in there, etc. Because there's still good minerals and stuff in those cloves. So anyways, guys, I think that's probably about all I wanted to mention in this video. If you guys had any other questions, feel free to leave them, in the comments. Email me, SocoNaturalHealth@gmail. I guess one of the things I didn't mention is like I'd been using a wormwood tincture in the enemas as well, and that seems to be really helping. I actually passed quite a large one. Normally when I say a large one, I'd been talking about like foot long or 2 foot long, but in this case, I mean, it was actually pretty fat. It was, most of the time when I pass these things, I've got video uploads that show you the pictures of them, videos of them. You can check out that. But what I'm talking about, normally they're like the size of a fettuccine noodle, and they come out all different colors just based on whatever I was using to extract them, kind of deal. But definitely the wormwood, I think, has really helped in the enemas, because I did pass a big one that was probably like a really, if I said the other ones were fettuccine, this was probably 2 times the size of a fettuccine noodle, at least, maybe 2.5, 3. So anyways, guys, I guess that's about it. Just really want to encourage you, consume bone broth, which is high in amino acids, or other sources of aminos. I really suggest cutting back on sugar, because most of the younger stages feed directly on sugar. But on a keto diet, I feel great. I've got more energy. I think that also helps with the parasite passing, is that I've got so much more energy. Just so many things, guys. I sleep better at night, that's for sure. Thanks for listening. Stay healthy.